Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on September 5th, 2020, to talk about everything that went down tonight at AEW All Out. Now, as you can tell, I'm in a different setting right now. I'm at a friend's house working on a project, and then, well, I had to work on AEW tonight because the pay-per-view was just a pay-per-view. To be 100% completely honest with you guys, I thought tonight's show was just all right. If I had to really look at it as a whole, I liked the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express match, but everything else before the tag title match, I thought was meh. Now, I take that back. Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa was pretty good as well. I do have to say that. That was the best women's match AEW has ever had, bar none. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But with that, I do want to let you guys know, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, the number is 510-906-1341 to be part of tonight's show. Also, you can support us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited, a couple of different ways. You can support us by either donating some bits or by becoming a subscriber, either with that Tier 1 subscription or an Amazon Prime subscription. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have what they now call Prime Gaming. And with Prime Gaming, you get to subscribe to any one Twitch channel that you want to support throughout the month. And so, hey, why don't you support us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited? But with that, we've got AEW All Out to talk about. Again, I thought the show was good-ish. There were 3 matches that I thought were pretty good. 2 matches that I thought were... Now, let me just run this down really fast. So counting the buy-in, the pre-show, we had 11 matches. And I thought out of those 11 matches, one was really, really good. One was basically great. 2, 3 were really good. One was good, and then the rest were just whatever matches. So if I really had to say, if I give this a thumbs up or a thumbs down or whatever, it's more thumbs in the middle. Thumbs in the middle, to be completely honest. I didn't think this was one of their better shows. Tony Khan was hyping this up like, oh, this is going to be the best AEW pay-per-view we've ever done. We haven't done a show this well. It's going to be the best, blah, blah, blah. I was bored most of tonight. To be 100% completely honest, I was bored for most of this show. So with that, the show did kick off with the buy-in. And on the buy-in, the first match we did see was Private Party against Alex Reynolds and John Silver, 3 and 4 of the Dark Order. Silver and Cassidy began this match, while Cassidy usually gets the hot tag, while Quinn is worked over, but they flipped the script this time and tried something new. Cassidy got cut off, and Reynolds and Silver went to work on him. Quinn got the hot tag, and Silver blocked the silly string. Silver hit a running knee to Quinn, and a helicopter spin neckbreaker for a near fall. Reynolds tagged in. Reynolds and Silver hit a tandem suplex into a jackknife cover for a 2 count. Quinn hit a Pele kick on Silver. Cassidy made it back to the apron and tagged in. Cassidy and Quinn then hit the gin and juice, and Cassidy pinned Silver to pick up the victory. John Silver taking the pin. Hey, cool. Give a win to Private Party. They can use it. I see Jimmy Too Sweet says Joey Janela match was first. Yeah, I realized that once I started going that I have those 2 matches accidentally flipped in my notes. So next up, well actually before that, I messed it up a little bit. We had Joey Janela versus Serpentico on the buy-in. Most of you may not have seen Serpentico before if you don't watch AEW Dark. He primarily wrestles on AEW Dark. I thought this match was a little clunky, to be completely honest. At one point, Janela attacked Serpentico as the bell rang. Serpentico cut him off and sent him crashing into Sunny Kiss on the apron. Like, why was Sunny Kiss up on the apron? It's not a tag team match. Anyways, Serpentico worked Janela over. There was a weird spot where Serpentico went to the top rope as if he was going to hit a senton, but jumped down and hit a stomp instead. Serpentico then went back up and tried the senton, but Janela got his knees up. Janela then came back with a Death Valley driver and a Blue Thunder Bomb for a near fall. Janela then missed a moonsault. Serpentico hit a thrust kick and a DDT for a near fall. Serpentico then took the ref. Janela ran the ropes, and Luther was supposed to trip Janela, it looked like, but he missed the ankle on the first attempt. So then Janela kept running, and he did it again, and he finally tripped him up. Janela then hit a Fisherman Buster off the top because, well, that really didn't affect him much anyways. Janela then hit a top rope elbow and pinned Serpentico to pick up the victory. The retconning, what do they call it? Retconning him from getting his ass beat by Jericho this past Wednesday. So then we move on to the main card. Main card of All Out. The first match we did see was the Tooth and Nail match. And I did see some people online saying, oh man, this match was fun. This match was funny, da-da-da. I will give it to them. There were some funny moments. But overall, I did not think this match was good. And let me know in the chat if you're watching live or in the comments below if you're watching later on YouTube. Did you guys also have some audio quality issues during this one? Like, during the first, when it switched over to BR Live and pay-per-view off of YouTube and whatnot, the audio was cutting in and out and didn't sound that great. I don't know exactly why that was. Also, I get why this opened to the show, but I didn't like it as the opener because it really started on a downer. I get it because the match was filmed during the day, so it had to be one of the earlier matches of the night because it started when there was still sunlight out. This was pre-taped, I want to say, I heard maybe Thursday. But Swole arrived in VIP fashion. She had a driver bring her to, I guess you could say, Britt Baker's dental office. And we'll just call her Reba. Screw it. I'm not going to do the whole Reba Rebel thing. We'll just call her Reba. Reba was the assistant at the front who was going to check in Big Swole. She wasn't paying attention. She said, can I get your name? She says, Swole. Big Swole. And Reba was like, oh no, she's here. And so they fought for like all of 2 seconds. Swole then kicked the chair out from under her. Reba fell down and she goes, there you go, Reba. And then they started doing this like a horror movie. So Big Swole's walking around the office and she's calling for Baker. And then we see off in like one of the side rooms in the shadows, Britt Baker walks up and is like, and I'm like, okay then. She's supposed to be Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers. So eventually, Britt Baker sneaks up on Big Swole from behind and smacks her across the head with a framed diploma. The two brawled for a moment, and then they brawled outside and on top of a dumpster. Reba was trying to help Baker and got tossed into the dumpster. I will give it to her. Reba, Rebel, whatever you want to call her, she's good for comedy relief. She really is. Like, she's on point when she needs to be the comic relief. It's not like, she's doing what she's scripted to do. No, she actually does it very well, the comic relief stuff, as far as being the goofy sidekick to Britt Baker. So they brawled back inside, and Baker trapped Swole on a chair. She tried to use a dental drill to maybe drill into a tooth. She tried to yank out a tooth, but none of that really happened. She then tried to swab Big Swole with a Novocaine needle. Swole grabbed the needle and stabbed Baker in the leg with it. Reba came back as she recovered from the trash, I guess you could say, the dumpster, and started freaking out. Swole then hit the Dirty Dancing on Reba, punched through another framed diploma. Swole then strapped an amnesia mask on Baker. Baker passed out, and that was the finish of the match. It just was over. Okie dokie. Again, I didn't like that at all. There was aspects of it that were kind of funny. But as far as the opener of your pay-per-view, the first thing some people may see if they didn't watch the pre-show was this. I think it should have started with the next match, Young Bucks vs. Jurassic Express, to really get people in the mood. Because if they didn't see the pre-show, you want to give them something hot to start it off with, not this silly, goofy, most of the way dumb comedy deal. Also, our Twitch poll has subsided. 88% of you said you liked tonight's AEW All Out pay-per-view. 13% of you said you didn't like it. And, well, none of you said, no, take that back. 13% of you said it was all right. And 0% said I didn't like it, so that's good. Good that most of you at least thought it was all right, and most of you really enjoyed the show. So next up, we did have that tag team match, the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. I thought this was a really good match. I thought this match accomplished exactly what it had to, but at the same time, I don't know what they were supposed to be doing here with the Young Bucks. They were more aggressive than normal. I will give them that. I don't know if maybe the Bucks were coming out here and just trying to release some pent-up aggression because they were pissed off at Hangman still. But this 1000% should have been the opener, like I stated. Really, really good match. And they did tell a good story with it, even though it wasn't atypical Bucks, if that makes any sense. They were, like I said, more aggressive. So both teams went back and forth early on in this match. Jungle Boy tried a springboard tornado DDT on Matt, but Matt blocked it and hit a Northern Light suplex sequence. Matt and Jungle Boy then tried tandem suplex spots over the top rope to the floor, but they couldn't quite pull it off. Matt then dumped Jungle Boy over the barricade. Jungle Boy just beat the count to get back in. They really beat the shit out of Jungle Boy here tonight. From that point on, the Bucks cut Jungle Boy off and began working him over. Marco Stunt would try to interfere with a crutch, but he ate a super kick from Matt on the outside. Luchasaurus finally got the hot tag, and he connected with a moonsault press off the apron to the floor. Both teams jumped in at this point, and everything kind of got a little chaotic in my book. Luchasaurus hit a chokeslam on Nick. Jungle Boy hit Matt with the Poison Rana. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus then hit the extinction level event on Matt, and then Jungle Boy went for the pin, but only got a 2 off of it. A highlight spot of this match, though, Luchasaurus sent Nick over the barricade, then hit a springboard dive over the top rope, over the barricade, onto a group of extras at ringside. I thought that was really cool. I mean, Luchasaurus, for all the things we've heard of him having knee problems and slight back problems and stuff, and his height, he does some lucha things very, very well. I've said this before and I'll say it again. WWE dropped the ball with him. If you don't know the story, WWE was very high on him when he was in NXT. In 2013, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong on that year, he was supposed to debut after a Survivor Series on Raw with the Wyatt family. And he was just coming off of an injury, and they said, no, never mind. We're not doing it. And then not long after that, he was released. I remember he told that whole story on Big Brother when he was on Big Brother that one year. So going forward in this match, Jungle Boy at one point hit a springboard, but Matt hit him with a super kick. We didn't really hit the springboard. Matt then covered for a near fall. Nick hit a super kick and a near fall. Jungle Boy was basically just knocked out, but not dead yet. Finally, both Jacksons got in the ring. Bucks in with the BTE trigger, and Matt pinned Jungle Boy. So the Young Bucks do defeat Lucha Express. I don't know exactly why Luchasaurus never came back really after that dive when Nick was able to come back. Like, you would think both men were dead. No. Luchasaurus, I think, was kind of sauntering around ringside by the finish, but wasn't able to like jump in and actually break anything up or whatever. So I was on the finish, but the match as a whole, the story they told, more aggressive Bucks and all that was really, really good. Excuse me. So next up, we had the Casino Battle Royale, and I'm going to say it right now. I hated this. Flat out hated it. This is what you call trying to book too much into one match. It's called overbooking it. You overcomplicated something that didn't need to be so complicated. Didn't need to be so complicated. Jay Penix says that Nick actually moved off of that diet. Okay, I didn't catch that then. Good to know. But I felt like they tried to do too many spots, you may say, in this match. And there was one spot they should not have done with frickin' Darby Allin. Darby wants the notion of, I'm the crazy guy that'll do anything. Ha ha ha. No. Not it. No. This body bag thing was, oh my God, ridiculously dangerous and should not have happened. The match starts off with the first group. I don't remember. I didn't write down if they were the hearts or the diamonds or the spades or any of that. I just know first group was Christopher Daniels, Jake Hager, The Blade, Phoenix, and Trent. It started off solid. I'm like, okay, this is going good. We got 5 guys. And if you don't know the Casino Battle Royale, it's 5 guys coming out in groups of 5, and then the Joker gets to come out last, the one person. So the match starts off, and it's good action for the first 2 minutes or so, as we've got the first group. As I said, it was Trent, Christopher Daniels, Jake Hager, The Blade, and Phoenix. Group 2 would come out, and it was Frankie Kazarian, Will Hobbs, which was a big surprise to me, Chuck Taylor, Santana, and Ortiz. Now, Will Hobbs is somebody that you probably haven't heard of. I've only seen like 1 or 2 Will Hobbs matches, but every time somebody brings up his name to me, it's always in a positive way. So I'm glad that they've noticed that and they gave him a shot here tonight. I don't know if this is a one-time thing or if they're going to use him on Dark or if he's going to get some sort of a trial period in AEW, but I thought it was cool to see him here, especially with all the praise that I've heard from him from others on the independent scene. At one point, Santana Ortiz hit Chuck Taylor with a baton on his way out to the ring. Hobbs tossed Blade and Phoenix and hit Blade with a kick. Hager then tossed out Daniels. The next group, the third group, would come out, and it was Billy, Penta L0M, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Darby Allin. And I got to state, we assumed that Austin Gunn was going to be in this match. Everybody thought Austin Gunn was going to be in this match because he came out on Dynamite in that brawl, but he wasn't in the match. Only his dad was, and he was just front row ringside like he always is for Dynamite. So that was a little weird to me to have Austin in that brawl on Wednesday and not even include him in the match. So Billy hit a Faymaster on Hager at one point and then hit some crotch chops. Cage tossed Billy right away. Allen hit a Code Red on Starks and then tossed Phoenix, and Santana tossed Chuck Taylor. The next group would come out, and it was Shawn Spears, Eddie Kingston, The Butcher, Sonny Kiss, who was a surprise, and Lance Archer. And I'm going to say it right now, didn't hear the crowd too much tonight, but boy, did we hear a pop when they realized Eddie Kingston was coming out. Because Eddie Kingston's music plays, and his video starts to play, and we're like, well, who is this? And then you can kind of see, well, the way the camera was angled, it'd say Kingston, and all of a sudden you hear the crowd go, ah! So the 600-700 people they had were really into Eddie Kingston, wanting to see what he had tonight. And so that's a good sign for AEW, knowing, hey, our fans do like this guy, and we did get that reassured here tonight with this live crowd. So that was a positive of this match, that we did reaffirm that the fans are really behind Eddie Kingston, because that was the first real pop I feel like I heard all night. So at one point in this match, Spears took his time. Well, actually not at one point, but when the final group came out, Spears came out first, and he went over to the announce table, and he goes, hey, we got a table here full of Legends, Hall of Famers, and Excalibur. Remember, Taz was on commentary for this match as well. And so he's like jaw-jacking on commentary, wasting time before he has to get into the match. Finally, he does get into the match. He stalled. Tully Blanchard walked out and gave him a loaded glove. At one point, Sonny Kiss actually eliminated Jake Hager. Cage threw out Sonny Kiss. Trent eliminated Santana, keeping that feud alive. Archer threw out Trent and Ortiz. Then it was time for the Joker. And the question was, who is this going to be? We had heard the rumors of Chris Hero maybe being there. We had heard the rumors of John Hennigan, former Curtis Axel possibly being there. Neither of those guys were actually used. Like I stated in my report, they were at Dynamite, both Chris Hero and John Hennigan. They weren't used tonight in this match, as many thought they would be. But no, that final spot actually went to none other than Matt Sydal, the former Evan Bourne in WWE. And very quickly, now remember here, Matt Sydal's big move is the shooting star press. And he botched that in the biggest way possible here tonight. Hold on. If you guys didn't see this, I need to play it for you. If I can. Hold on. I got a weird setup here tonight, so I may not be able to play this. But I just need to play this botch because it was that bad. Like this was horribly bad, this botch. If I can actually get it to play. I don't know if I will be. Like I said, I'm on a different setup, so I may not be able to. Bum, 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 bum. All right, here we go. I can get it. I can get it. All right. Can I full screen it? No. I'm not going to be able to full screen it, though. But, like I said, Matt Sydal jumps up to go for the shooting star, and his leg just slips right out from under him. Like, look at this. That could have been so bad. His head almost snaps. His arm snaps the top rope. His head could have snapped and bashed onto the turnbuckle on the top. Like, super scary moment there for one Matt Sydal. At one point, he did hit a double stomp off the top to Spears, and then Spears fell off the apron. Hobbs hit a spine buster on Sydal into some tacks. Archer hit Hobbs with a pounce. Cage and Archer tried some power spots, and they stroke some strikes back and forth. Taz is like, oh man, this is what I don't want to see. I don't want to see, Lance Archer against my man. Hobbs and Cage then fought on the apron, and Archer drop kicked them both off the apron, eliminating both. And I forgot something here. Forgot an important thing. After Ricky Starks was eliminated, and before Brian Cage was eliminated, there was one of the dumbest spots I have ever seen. Ricky Starks pulls out a body bag, and they put Darby Allin in it. And keep in mind, the body bag is full of tacks as well. So they put Darby Allin in this body bag full of tacks. Brian Cage picks him up over his shoulder and just launches him over the top rope. Granted, they did it on the stage, so it's not that far of a drop. But this could have been so bad because basically, Darby Allin just had to sit there and go, all right, I hope I land on my back, and I hope I land square on this platform. I hope I don't land too close to the step. I hope my head doesn't crack that. Like, there's so much that could have gone wrong with this spot. I mean, Cage could have threw him too far and his head crack on the top of the step, or he could have rotated himself in midair by accident, or he could have slipped and, like, so stupid. Because A, he's in a bag full of tacks, so who knows how the tacks are going to move around in that bag as he's being thrown, and B, he has no clue when he's going to hit the ground, so he doesn't even know how to brace for that bump. Is he just stiffened up the entire time? I don't know. But this was one of the most ridiculous, dumbest bumps I've seen in I don't know how long. He could have seriously been injured. And this is the second time they have done this with Darby Allin and Brian Cage. Because if you remember back at Double or Nothing, they had the time when he was laid out on a ladder. Cage picked the ladder up over his head and just threw it. That was a dumb spot too. That's just as dumb. Because that ladder, they're just lucky that spot went off without a hitch as well. Like, this was just, I don't know. So the Final Four came down to Eddie Kingston, The Butcher, Lance Archer, and Matt Sydal. Sydal tossed Butcher. Archer hit blackout on Sydal. Kingston threw Sydal off the apron. Kingston and Archer were the final two, and they let us know Jake's got that bag. Is the snake in the bag? And this is when it got super dumb. So the Blade ran over to help Eddie Kingston as Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer are fighting on the apron. And then Jake walks up and just kind of opens the bag and is like, hey, 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 look at my bag, look at my bag, look at my bag, Eddie Kingston. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Jake? We're supposed to believe that the snake is in there and it scared Eddie Kingston? Get the fuck out of here. So finally, Eddie Kingston's kind of like scared and like, ooh, there's a snake in that bag. And so he just gets tossed by Archer. Right off the post, onto the Butcher for the final elimination. Butcher and the Blade. Butcher and the Blade tried to help him out. Archer fought them all off. This was stupid as all hell. The match was way too overbooked. They tried to do too many things. It was cool seeing Matt Sydal, because that was something nobody expected. I hadn't heard anything about Matt Sydal possibly being there. But it was just so dumb with the end. The finish was just ridiculous. I like Lance Archer winning. And also, a heel won. The winner gets a world title shot. They ain't doing Lance Archer versus MJF, so boom, that right there. 3 hours early told us, oh, Moxley's winning the main event. Like, there was no way to do this match after the main event and not telegraph it, but still. And again, I didn't like Jake with the whole, it's not, he didn't even pull out a snake. We didn't even know if a snake was in the bag. We were supposed to believe that there was a snake in the bag. Bullshit, there was a snake in that bag. And then Jake is kind of like opening the bag and like, look at my bag. I got a snake in my bag. Like, fuck off. So next up, we got another match that was just ridiculous. It was the Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara Broken Rules match. It was a Falls Count Anywhere, Last Man Standing. And actually, this was supposed to be Jericho's match. So Jericho told a story recently, I think it was on his Talk is Jericho podcast, that at this pay-per-view, he was supposed to fight Tyson. And they were supposed to do a Last Man Standing match because, well, Last Man Standing is technically boxing. You got to stand up before the referee's 10 count. But when Tyson's fight with, who was he fighting? Ron? Who's Tyson supposed to be fighting again? Roy Jones Jr. Got moved in November. Tyson said, I can't do your pay-per-view. And so they gave Sammy and Matt the Last Man Standing match. They came up with the Mimosa Mayhem match, bada bing, bada boom. But Last Man Standing was supposed to be Jericho Tyson. Jericho basically told us that on his podcast. But this match was just weird and made absolutely no sense. The finish made sense because Matt Hardy ain't fucking leaving AEW. But so the match starts over at the baseball field, the baseball stadium concession area. And Matt Hardy walks up. He's like, Sammy, where are you? And we see on the big screen, really cool on the scoreboard, the graphic for Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara or whatever. And Sammy's in the golf cart. So Sammy drives the golf cart up, whatever, after Matt, but he misses Matt. And they're like, oh, Sammy Guevara's a bad driver. Okay, cool. Hardy then hits a DDT on a picnic table in the stadium concourse. Then they almost killed Matt Hardy. Jimmy Too Sweet says Matt's wife was verbal on Twitter. I didn't see it. Let me go. Hold on. I need to see what Rebby said. Hold on. Because Rebby is a very entertaining tweeter. What does she say this time? So basically, she showed that the kids were watching with Senor Benjamin and herself in their theater. And she's got a tweet here showing her text with Matt, where she said, love you. I got it. Or hold on, let me pull this up for you guys. This is actually very interesting that she showed this. Let me see. I'm not going to be able to show it to you, actually. So it's Matt tweeting Rebby, and he says, love you. I got a hit to the football field in just a minute to start our match. Hope you enjoy. Rebby tweets back, I love you. Don't be dumb. What the fuck? You practically cleared that table. What the fuck? Matt, what the goddamn fucking fuck? And well, she's probably texting Matt while he's still in this match. Because this match... So they climb up on this scissor lift. And Guevara spears Matt off of the lift, and there's 2 tables set up, right? 2 tables. And when they jump off of the scissor lift, they basically jump over both tables. Matt's like waist down, cracks the farthest out table, but Matt's waist up just blah, right on the concrete. Matt just boom. And Sammy makes his way up because Sammy lands on top of Matt because he hit a spear. So Sammy's basically fine. But Matt's not, obviously. And Aubrey Edwards, who's the referee, throws up the X. And we're like, uh-oh. Dr. Sampson runs in. And on commentary, they tell us, well, Dr. Sampson has stopped this match, we believe. We believe that this match is inadvertently over. And then all of a sudden we hear the bell ring again. And I'm like, whoa, Matt couldn't even barely stand up. Why are you letting him continue? Matt appears to regain some senses, and then cuts a promo on Sammy. Sammy makes his way to the main Daily's Place arena, and Matt follows. The announcers then address as if it was a real injury, a real situation where Matt hurt himself there, which I believe he did, because I was told something along the lines of Matt may have just been rushed to the hospital as soon as this match was over. Concussion City, probably. Anyways. So, they're showing the announcers, whatever, and they're like, Matt Hardy may have actually been injured. We don't know exactly what's going to happen here, what's going on. And then they cut to Matt and Sammy brawling in the arena. And I'm like, no way are they fucking going to let Matt fight. Are they this dumb to risk Matt getting hurt worse? So Hardy and Guevara climb up one of the trusses in Daily's Place. And Matt follows Sammy up there. Matt hits Sammy with the right hand. Like, they do nothing here, really. They climb up the truss. It's like they had a longer match maybe planned, and they went straight to the finish. They climb up the truss. Matt hits Sammy with one punch. Sammy falls off, takes a dive right onto this massive platform with a huge crash pad under it that nobody could have got hurt off of. And Sammy never gets back up. And my thought was, okay, so they must have went straight to the finish. This could have been a little longer. Why let Matt do anything? If Matt was really knocked out there for a second, I would not have let him climb that truss. Yes, nothing happened, but that was a major, major risk that they took there. Because what if Matt did have a concussion, which he may have, and started to lose consciousness a little when he's up there and just like, uh-oh, and fell off. What if? I'm not saying that happened. I'm glad he's okay as far as nothing else bad happened. But they dodged a big one. A big one, I feel. It was incredibly irresponsible for them to keep that going, especially if Matt was really hurt. Like, 100%. And I'm going to check something here really fast, guys. Yes, I have been told by a source, Matt Hardy did get taken to the hospital. So, I didn't like this at all. I'm seeing here a tweet from Mick Foley stating, I really hope Matt Hardy is okay. That was a tough bump to watch. And Matt is no youngster anymore. They needed to just stop it. I get it with the way the match had the stipulation of, well, if Matt loses, see, here's what I'm thinking their mindset was. That if they just stopped the match there, fans would be pissed off going, oh, you didn't even give us a finish because you didn't want Matt Hardy to lose and have to leave AEW, but you also didn't want to beat Sammy Guevara. This was a real life situation where I don't know if people would have given that sort of complaint. The people would have realized, no, Matt probably was really hurt and they needed to stop this. And the fucking doctor wanted to stop it. He said, I don't think Matt can continue. But then they let him go. Fuck. So next up, we have probably the greatest women's match in AEW history. was the AEW Women's World Championship match with Hikaru Shida, or as Dasha calls her, Hikaru Shida, and Thunder Rosa. I thought this was an amazing match. I thought this match was just, and I'm not just saying this because, oh, it's a great women's match. I thought this was one of the better technical matches on the entire night. Like, technical wise, this was one of the more solid actual matches of the night. They opened by trading palm strikes. Rosa went for an ankle lock, but Shida immediately made it to the ropes to break the hold. They had a striking battle, and Shida connected with a knee lift on the outside. Shida grabbed a chair as if she was going to jump off of it, and as she turned around to start to run towards it, Thunder Rosa did it instead and rocked her with a knee in the face. I thought that was really cool. Rosa then sent Shida into the apron and posted her. Rosa hit a drive-by kick on the apron. Rosa went to work on Shida's back after an attack on the outside. Shida hit a running knee, but kept selling her back. Shida hit a vertical suplex and a high kick. And, where was I? Lost my spot here. My notes froze. Give me 1 second to refresh it, guys. Here we go. Shida hit a running knee, but kept selling the back. Shida hit a vertical suplex and a high kick for a pair of near falls. Thunder Rosa blocked a Falcon Arrow attempt and rolled Shida up for a 2. At one point, they fought on the top rope. Shida teased a superplex onto the stage, and Rosa blocked it and hit a DVD on the apron. Rosa got a near submission off of an armbar. Rosa then went up to the top, but got cut off with a superplex. Shida hit a Meteora off the second rope onto the stage. It looked really cool. They did a count-out tease and then traded some strikes and knees. The finish of the match saw Shida hit a backbreaker for a near fall, and then hit her running knee Shining Wizard type move to beat Thunder Rosa and retain the AEW Women's World Championship. I thought this match was just solid all around. Both women worked their asses off in this match. More power to them. Next up in the back, AEW made fun of WWE. Shocker! Shocker. Fox Marvez interviewed Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. Ford said, they're getting married. Sabian said, they're getting married live on Dynamite. First, though, Sabian will have to have his bachelor party and reveal who his best man is. He said that his best man is going to be the best man there ever was. Then, he did the Sammy Guevara cue card gimmick where it said, hold on, I didn't write down exactly what the cue card said. I have it right here, though. The cue card itself said, oh, nope, that's not the right. Maybe I don't have the cue card picture. It said something along the lines of twitch.tv/Kip Sabian. And then it said, come join our community or something like that. And then he goes, oh, and he snaps. And all of a sudden on the screen it says, the following has been endorsed by All Elite Wrestling. Basically saying, well, let our wrestlers be on Twitch. They don't have to stop on Twitch. They can do what they want. Like, are you... Another fucking jab at WWE? Kudos! Really? Did we really need that? Any chance they get to fucking throw a shot at WWE? And I know it was funny. I know a lot of people thought it was a good jab, not one of their more dumb jabs. Because they've done some dumb jabs at WWE. This is one of the more entertaining ones because of everything we've heard over the last 24, 48 hours. But again, it's just like they can't get WWE off their mind. They say, Jericho says all the time, we didn't start this war. We're not in a war with WWE. WWE is trying to war us. Yeah. But when you guys try to throw jabs on your show, it comes off a tiny bit tasteless. Next up, we had another boring match. I never really actually got into this match. It was the Natural Nightmares, Scorpio Sky and Matt Cardona against the Dark Order's Mr. Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Stu Grayson, and Evil Uno. I thought this just felt like something that we should have saw on Dynamite, not the pay-per-view. I guess it would have been a great way to open next week's Dynamite. I get why it couldn't because of what it leads to next week on Dynamite. The Dark Order attacked the faces as they made their way down to the ring. Dustin got some shine. Marshall missed a QT special and got cut off by the others. Cardona got a hot tag at one point and hit a radio silence and a tope con hilo. Sky was in for a couple of spots, including a TKO. Anna Jay then ran in, and she tried to do something, I think, with Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky sidestepped, and boom, she was speared by Brandy. No, maybe it wasn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it a spear or a boot by Brandy? I can't remember exactly. That's how much I couldn't get into this match. I wrote spear, but now thinking about it, I think Brandy more brogue kicked her than anything. I think I may have wrote that wrong. Boot. Okay, Cincinnati says boot. That's what I thought. It was like a brogue kick type move. I don't know why I wrote spear. Maybe because Brandy does that bionic spear. Anyways, Dustin and Lee tagged in, and Lee hit a big, massive lariat on Dustin, which should have been the finish. Like, he should have went. Like, if we're thinking of this as a real fight, Brody Lee lost this match for his team, not going for the pin on Dustin here. Instead, he told Cabana, hey, I want you to win this match. Tag in now. He says, I've got this one for you. You can't lose. So he tags Colt. Colt goes to the top, goes to go for a moonsault, and misses it. Colt gets to his feet, looks straight at Mr. Brody, gets rolled up and pinned. JR had a line about Anna Jay having a wardrobe malfunction. I didn't notice it, but I heard JR say it at one point, and I'm like, huh? What? Why would you, why would you even mention that? And then, I think he said something about it on Twitter as well that I saw. Yeah, he tweeted out during the show. Didn't mean to offend anyone on the wardrobe malfunction line. Weak attempt at humor. Sorry. Now lighten up. Tongue out emoji. Like, really, Jim? So, Dustin wins this match by pinning Colt Cabana. Mr. Brody scolds him like he's John Silver. Surprised he didn't get a stack of papers and pop him on the head. And then we go to the back. And Tony Schiavone is with, which I don't know why they didn't use Alex since he's been doing the backstage interviews tonight. But Tony's with Dustin and he goes, Dustin, I have some breaking news. I need to let you know that this Wednesday on TNT, you will be challenging Mr. Brody Lee for the TNT Championship. And Dustin's like, what? Huh? Really? Okay. Any opportunity for me to bring gold back to the family, put gold around my waist, I'm going to try. I'm going to bring it to Mr. Brody Lee. He said he's bringing hell with him on Wednesday. Then we had the greatest thing of the night. Now I'm going to say it right now, and I don't know if I'm in the minority here or if others are going to agree with me, but I feel that this match was amazing, but wasn't quite as good as Omega Page versus the Young Bucks from Revolution. I felt like this match was amazing, but just a tick under. Like, if that match was 5 stars, this was 4 3/4. The match itself was a little long. I did feel that. Like, it went a little too long. Could have been cut 5 minutes or so off of it. And it started off with a good back and forth action, and they told a really great story. Omega and Page worked on Cash at first. Dax and Cash then worked on Page. Omega got a tag and hit a You Can't Escape on Cash. He used a V-trigger, a Kataru Crusher, and a Terminator dive. JR, of course, crapped all over Omega doing the dive. Why, Jim? Page and Omega did some double team spots. Page hit a German on Cash. Omega then hit a V-trigger and got a near fall off of it. Omega and Page went for the last call, but Dax blocked. Omega got cut off, and his right leg started getting worked throughout the rest of this match. He got a dragon screwed in the ropes. Dax and Cash then hit double diving headbutts. Page and Omega made a comeback. Page missed a last call. Omega accidentally V-triggered Page. Omega had his right leg chop blocked out from under him, I guess you could say. FTR then hit the Mindbreaker Spike Pile Driver. And I'm thinking, all right, we're done. Match is over. Page ain't getting up. Kenny's legs busted. He can't jump in to make the save. And then Page kicks out. Adam Page kicks out. And I'm like, ooh, shit. Will they do it again? You go for the spike pile driver. Kenny tries to jump up on the apron. Dax Harwood knocks him off. They hit the pile driver. And then they win. Wheeler pins Page. New AEW World Tag Team Champions. And I ain't mad. I am not mad at all. This is the right move. I wouldn't have been mad if they lost either. They shouldn't have lost. But if they... Here's my thinking on this. If they would have lost, but stayed in the hunt, and did maybe like a number one contenders match with the Bucks that led to a non-finish because the Hangman maybe interferes and then it gets a triple threat, that would have been cool too. We could still get that triple threat. But I think this was the right move, even though I wouldn't have been too mad if they lost. So after the match, totally celebrated with his boys in the ring as Page was laid out. They left 2 beers at Page's head and mocked him. Omega climbed in and had a wooden table from ringside. He really teased like he was going to hit Page with the table. He pulled the little tablecloth off of it, and he like had the table in his hand. He kept looking over at Page. Like, looking over at Page, and then finally he's, I can't. And he throws it down, gets out of the ring, and walks to the back. And I'm like, something's going to happen here because the cameras are following him to the back. So he walks straight past their gorilla position, or as Cody calls it, the dusty position. And he's walking, and he sees the Bucks. And they're like, Kenny, are you okay? He's like, I'm done. I'm done. And he keeps walking and walking. There's a guy with an SUV, door open. Kenny's just like, I gotta go. I can't. And Matt and Nick are like, well, talk to us. Kenny, talk to us. And he's just like, I gotta go. And he leaves without his stuff, just as soon as the match is over. And I get it, and I don't get it. Why is he so mad? Yes, I get he's mad because they lost. And does he blame Page? Maybe. But they lost. Page didn't screw up, technically. If anything, he screwed up when he hit Page with the V-trigger. So I don't get why he's so mad that he had to just immediately leave. That was a little weird. I don't know about that one. I did see some people online trying to compare this to FTR versus American Alpha from TakeOver Dallas. And I'm like, I can maybe see it. But even... no, I can kind of see the comparison. I just see a lot of people on Twitter going, man, this was just like when FTR took on American Alpha on TakeOver. And I was like, a little bit. So I guess they're teasing. They're really stretching out this Omega heel turn. Because if you watch BTE, you know what's coming. I mean, they showed Omega in his car, and he had the glasses on for the cleaner. I don't get why he had to leave the way he did. And then I'm thinking, all right, that was co-main event. We got the main event. We're done. And then they're like, next up is Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy in the Mimosa Mayhem match. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about this match. And this match was actually pretty fun. It was different, but different in a good way. So the match starts, and then either side of the ring, they have this big pool of mimosa. It's bubbly mixed with orange juice. And so very quickly, Jericho tries to go for the win. He hits the code breaker, Lion Tamer. Cassidy gets out of the Lion Tamer. Jericho hits Cassidy with a table and broke a platter over his head. They did several mimosa bump teases, but none of them happened till the end. They brawled on the floor, and Jericho ended up bleeding somehow. Not exactly sure how. Back on one of the mimosa platforms, Jericho put Cassidy through a table. Cassidy hit Jericho with an ice bucket. They did another mimosa tease. Cassidy then hit a Michinoku driver and an orange punch. Cassidy then hit a running penalty kick and a swinging DDT for a 2. Jericho hit another code breaker, but Cassidy kicked out a 2. Jericho teased a long darting Cassidy into one of the vats of mimosa, but Cassidy blocked it. Cassidy also blocked a Rager's Edge attempt into the mimosa. Cassidy then hit 2 orange punches, his version of the Superman punch. And finally, on the second one, Jericho fell off the second rope, I think it was, and fell into one of the vats of Mimosa. I thought this was fun. It wasn't a great match. It technically was just a comedy match, but it was fun for what it was, and I can't hate it because that's what it was supposed to be. It was Jericho, Orange Cassidy, not trying to go out there and have the best match of the night, not trying to have the most technical match of matches. I think they accomplished everything they were trying to do, to be honest. So then we finally get our main event. It is MJF challenging Jon Moxley for the World Championship. And I felt like this was a good main event, not great. And just like, I'm going to say it, just like back at Revolution, tag title match should have been the main. But I get it, in AEW, they're under the impression, or at least Tony Khan is, world title main events are pay-per-view. I'm going to say it right now, and correct me if I missed this. There was a missed opportunity of MJF not trying to go for the paradigm shift. And maybe I missed it. But MJF should have tried to hit that paradigm shift. Or even hit it and Moxley kick out. Like, I felt like one of the first things MJF should have done was try to hit that paradigm shift. Be like, hey, I can do your move, but you can't. And the finish was kind of crap. Where, I'm just going to say it, Moxley just hit the paradigm shift anyways because Wardlow distracted the referee. Bullshit kind of finish, though. I didn't like that. Because why have the stipulation of you can't do it if he's going to figure out how to do it anyways? Because here's the thing. Moxley's whole thing on Wednesday, 2 weeks ago, or Thursday, whenever that was I can't do the paradigm shift? Well, that's actually worse for you because now you're making me have to be even more creative on how to beat you. Really? His guy distracted the ref, so you just hit him with the paradigm shift. You didn't get creative one bit, unfortunately. So early on, MJF used a headlock takeover and taunted the crowd. Moxley sent MJF outside and hit a suicide dive. He dropped MJF crotch first onto one of the barricades. The tides then turned when MJF dropped Moxley shoulder first on the apron, and Moxley sold it like he dislocated his shoulder. And he played this up. He sold this throughout the match. Less and less towards the end, because I guess that's what you're supposed to do. MJF continued working over the shoulder for a while and sent Moxley crashing off the apron into the barricade. Moxley hit a slingshot on MJF, sending him into the post. MJF then bladed and was bleeding. MJF bladed and was bleeding big time. MJF was... Woo! A lot of blood. Mox tried to pop his shoulder back in, which was kind of a nice way to sell the injury. Moxley hit an X-Plex at one point and got a near fall off of it. Moxley bit at MJF's bloody forehead. Stupid ass. MJF then hit a double stomp and Moxley's left arm off of the top rope. MJF then used the salt of the earth armbar, and Moxley forced a rope break. MJF hit the heat sink. Moxley kicked out at 2. MJF went for a second heat sink, and Moxley blocked and hit an air raid crash for a near fall of his own. They started trading slaps on their knees, but the bad part about this was Moxley wasn't even selling it. He'd get hit, laugh, and go, yeah, do it again, oh, pah, do it again, pah. Like, you're pretty far into this match, you're not going to sell it? I thought that was a little weird. I get it, Mox is supposed to be the hardcore badass that you can't hurt, but he should have at least sold 1 or 2 of the hits. Moxley then hits a headbutt. MJF comes back with a headbutt, and they get to their feet. MJF takes the referee and uses the distraction to get a thumb in the eye of Moxley. Moxley then used a sleeper hold, but MJF took the ref again and hit a low blow for a near fall. This spot would have worked with a bigger crowd, but, well, this match, I never heard the crowd. Like, this would have been perfect if they had a bigger crowd, or the crowd was closer to the ring. I get why they can't be, and you can actually hear them booing off of the low blow. MJF then hit a crossroads, which I still don't know why he's doing that move. He ain't feuding with Cody no more. Wardlow then distracts the ref and throws in the Dynamite Diamond Ring. MJF looking for it. Oh, I found it. And as he grabs it, the camera pans back, his head comes up, and there's Moxley. Like, no, motherfucker. No, motherfucker. Moxley then notices that the ref is distracted by Wardlow. So, he hits the paradigm shift and just pins MJF to retain the title. Bullshit. The whole thing was that Moxley's got to have to get creative and figure out a new way to defeat MJF. And what does he do? He just hits the damn paradigm shift. I hated it. I did not like that finish at all. And like I said, one of the first things that they should have done was MJF got a slight advantage, hit that paradigm shift of his own, and like knock Mox down and go, I hit you with your move. Try to pin him. Mox kicks out and gets pissed. I don't think you're big. And I get it's Jon Moxley. He's not your atypical babyface. But your babyface cheating to win? Why even do the stipulation of can't do your move? Why? If he's going to do his move anyways. I did not like that at all. At all. After the match, Moxley was somewhat celebrating when Lance Archer was in the crowd with Jake Roberts watching on. And that's how the show went off the air, as Jim Ross said, hey, join us on Wednesday for Dynamite. Overall, I thought the show was okay. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I'd give it a 7. Maybe 7.5 because I loved FTR versus Omega and Page. But it was just like, the end of the show felt really flat when Moxley just won with the paradigm shift. That I don't know. There was just a lot of head scratchers in this match, to be completely honest. Why did you let Matt Hardy continue? Why did Moxley just win with his finish even though he wasn't supposed to do his finish? Britt Baker and Swole, what was that? It was like, really? She passed out, so she lost because you put some anesthesia on her. Casino Battle Royale, way too overdone. Like, they tried too much in that match. Frickin' they almost killed Darby. They could have, well, not almost, because we don't know. But they could have killed Darby. It was just too many what the hells on this show tonight for me to really go out there and say it was one of their better pay-per-views, because it wasn't. Revolution was a better show. Full Gear, last year, better show. Last year's All Out, better show. Double or Nothing, way better show. So in all honesty, I would give this show at best a 7.5. But now I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys thought of tonight's show. Let me know what you guys thought of tonight's show by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, the number is 510-906-1341. Let's pull up those text messages here. If it wants to load, come on. All right, here we go. Got a couple text messages here. Person says, do you think during Moxley's entrance, the fans were trying to attack Moxley, or was the fan trying to touch him? I honestly don't know, because I'm not exactly sure what you're referencing. I didn't see anything weird with Moxley's entrance, to be honest. Also, if the stream is buffering for anybody, I do apologize. Let me double check it really fast. We may have actually went offline. Let me know if you guys can still hear and see me. Jimmy Two Sweets says, why don't you take calls anymore? Because my setup actually is not working right now with how I used to take calls. You guys wouldn't be able to hear the caller, to be completely honest. Because I got a new computer, and for some reason, I just can't get it to work where you guys will be able to hear the callers. I'm still trying to get that to work. This text message here says, The whole card tonight was great. However, the tooth and nail match was weird, but not an oh my god, don't ever do it again. Weird. It was like cool. They're thinking out of the box. Meh. And it says, I did mark out with Matt Sydal. Totally ate shit. First says, is Matt Sydal Evan Bourne? Yes. And this last text message here says, do you see them teasing tension between MJF and Wardlow? Because it looks like Wardlow cost MJF the title. No. I mean, maybe MJF can yell at him, but I don't think it's going to do anything bad. I don't think it's going to cause any tension or make MJF want to dump Wardlow from his being his heavy. I don't think that at all. And this last person here does state, is the Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer match going to take place with Full Gear? That's what I would assume. It's a long time to build up Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer. And to be honest, I don't want to see Jake Roberts doing those main event promos every week on Dynamite. I just don't. He's not been that great on the mic. And it's like, But with that, guys, that's going to wrap things up here for our AEW All Out review. I want to thank you guys for joining me here, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. If you missed any of this show or any of our previous reviews, you can check those out on youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. And follow our website, PWUnlimited.co. We'll be live again Monday for Monday Night Raw. I don't know why I blanked on that for a second. So with that, the next time we'll be here on Twitch will be Monday night. Thank you guys, and have a great night.